Well, as I'm sure you can see from the clips I've put up so far, the colours in the forest this morning are absolutely amazing. We're probably at peak colour now. So why on earth am I shooting black and white? Well, my plan this morning is to shoot the area I was photographing recently with the 8x10, if you saw that video. But I did say it's better suited to the Bronica because it's so dark in here and I can't focus with the large format cameras. So I've come back with the Bronica, and I intend to make the most of this setting over the next few weeks and months. But it is too dark at the moment, so I think I'll head back into the main forest and try and shoot some of those wonderful, colourful trees in black and white. We'll scratch that idea. I'm not here to shoot colour, I'm here to shoot black and white. And I think that's probably the theme of today's video, which is, see, I'm predominantly a black and white photographer and a film photographer at that. So despite the distraction of colour, and the colour is magnificent, as I've said already, I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm going to work on the compositions I did last time. Initially repeating them because I want them in my portfolio in the square formats, but then working on other angles as and when the light comes through. Now, the first composition is taking in this tree on the right-hand side, and then I'm going to quite simply just include some of this foreground over here, these trees here. But essentially it's a simple sort of square framing, repeating the 8x10, which I'll flash up here. But given that I've got the Delta 100 loaded and I'm going to get masses of detail, I'm hoping to get sort of close to that 8x10 look, albeit nowhere near the same size image. But the quality and the detail will be more than adequate from this camera. Now then, last time I was here, when I took the second shot, I complained that it was a little bit underexposed, so I'm being very careful this time. And I am focusing my attentions on this side of the tree. Now, I want tons of detail in this side of the tree, so that's where I've taken my spot meter reading from. And I'm going to be shooting around about 15 seconds at f/16, so there will be some gentle drop-off potentially in detail in the back of the image, but I'm not too worried about that. I must get a ton of detail in this. I do not like the sudden whitewash look. I'm all about open tones and sort of gentle details in the shadows. I'm not really one for that harsh black and white. So yeah, tree on the right hand side, cutting out an awful lot of this detail down in the bottom here because it's distracting me. That's for later shots. Okay, so here we go, 15 seconds, f/16, no filters. I did consider filters, but really it's too dull and there's not enough separation, so I don't really want to afford myself the extra pain of 30 and 1 minute exposures in case there's any wind. So 15 seconds. Now again, I'm going to recreate the shot from last time, but putting the tree stump as before in the middle with these two big trees sort of bounding the image. It was my favourite composition last time. And yes, this is repeating myself, but I want it in the square format because if I am going to revisit here over a period of months or maybe a year or so throughout the seasons, I want them to be homogeneous. I want to sit together. I don't want them to jar by being in different aspect ratios with different films. So it's an easy job to reproduce it with the Bronica, probably about 10 minutes effort or so. Now, it's actually proved very difficult for me to get this composition with the camera because there are branches all over the place. I'm not prepared to snap them off. They're here, they were here before, but for some reason I haven't got the same composition. I've got a different lens. So I've gone for my widest lens, which is a 40mm Zenzinon, about a 23mm equivalent. And that allows me to incorporate the tree trunk and the various objects which I want in the frame. But I'm not quite sure that it's going to be as well balanced as the 8x10 shot. Okay, so metering was the same as last time at 15 seconds. Oh God, let's try and get in the shot. At 15 seconds, I'll just hold back this branch while I'm taking the exposure. No filters. Delta 100. Deep breath. Yeah, 15 seconds is a considerable exposure. It's as long as the automatic timer, the electronic shutter, will open on the Bronica. After that, you're into B, bulb mode. One of the nice things about the Bronica, and one of the advantages it does have over the Hasselblad, is that extended shutter speeds, which makes it easier to time rather than sitting here holding the cable release open. It's not really a big deal though, is it? Well, this one I think does fall short of the composition I got the first time out. It's not as balanced. I couldn't get myself in the right position, and that wide angle lens, it does diminish the background somewhat. I also don't like the over prominence of the foreground stump, the cut one, and it's directly in line with the main tree behind it, so this is definitely not something I'm going to settle for. I'm going to have to reshoot it. Well, now that I've largely reproduced the initial images I took last time, and I don't know if they're going to be as good because I'm not sure the lighting is quite as favourable, but I want to now consider other images, and I'm going to go around with my device and basically scout the scene out. I've got a very wide lens, as I've just shown you for the last shot, so that will allow me to do more encompassing images, but also I've got longer lenses for the Bronica, so I can crop in, so probably take a little bit of time now before clicking the shutter again. Okay, so I am making full use of my ultra-wide lens again to encompass not only the tree stumps and the broken branches at the bottom, but also a lot of the background. Now, if I just zoom you down slightly, you can also see that this little stump here is included. Now, this gives you a nice, well, in the square format, a very nice lead through the image. It does go up into the tree at the top. It's nowhere near as bright as that, by the way, when you see it through the Bronica's viewfinder. But yeah, it is a different composition to what I could shoot last time because of that ultra-wide lens. Not a fan usually of ultra-wides, but in such an enclosed space, it gives me more options. Now, I've also switched to the waist level finder. I'm working quite low. If I had the camera tilted up or down with a wide angle, you know what happens to trees. They start doing this, you know, converging and diverging, which is very unattractive. So got the camera lower down, so I've got everything fairly level, which means I can use the waist level finder, which is by far my preferred viewfinder. Even though it does reverse the image left-right, it's correct up and down, so it's a lot easier than the large format, and it just gives you a wondrous view of the scene. Now, it has started raining, so I'm going to have to be quick here, but I've got 8 seconds. Wow, super fast. 8 seconds at f16, so here we go. Hold your breath, don't move your feet. There we go. Now, this one I consider the weakest of the day. It's lost, that wide angle lenses. It's not my way of working, I'm not familiar with it, and it doesn't go anywhere really. The central tree, the unbalanced stumps on the right, plenty of detail, but that is not a good angle to shoot from. Now, I've moved to the other side of the big tree. There's the stump over there. It's where I was shooting from, over in the centre. And I'm going to be shooting low down, as you can see, with the waist level finder and the standard lens, because I like these, the details around the tree trunk. It's very powerful. It's actually got a more powerful stance from this side. The tree is dominant. It's no longer playing a side role. Don't really want that thing in there, that sort of horribly cut tree stump. But I do like the way it flows through to the other stump, and I'm going to crop it quite tightly with just the eye flowing through at f16. Maybe a slight drop off in sharpness, maybe not, but I think that could help it. So I may even take a second frame at around about f11 just to make sure I get some separation. Now, once again, I'm getting around about sort of 8 seconds measuring a deep shadow, even though the light's coming up. I am desperate to get tons of detail in here. I hate thin negatives. Like I say, I hate that Sutton whitewash look. I don't like the high contrast woodland look. So 8 seconds, f16 was my first shot. I'm actually going to go down to f11 though, as I said just a minute ago, at 4 seconds, because I may want some slight tapering off of sharpness, of depth of field into the distance, which I think will benefit the prominence of this major tree here. So let's get it shot. "4 seconds, et voila." This one's okay. Now, out of interest, I did take the one shot with a smaller aperture. When I opened up to f11, it was too much softening. Believe it or not, the foreground was very soft. So even that one stop with medium format made a huge difference. So I prefer the extra depth of field. I don't mind this one too much, although I think maybe if the background was a little less cluttered, maybe if it faded out in terms of light levels, give more prominence to the foreground, it may be one of those angles that works better midday or later in the day. So heaven forbid I might actually go back to the forest at some time other than first thing in the morning, but I do think it merits revisiting this one. Right, I'm just heading away from the big tree, and I'm going to go over there. Now, I've been able to, by moving some of the branches and hiding behind this tree, so I'm going to stand over there and get the long lens on to get a similar view, but with a different compression of the first shot. Yeah, so this set of branches here were in my way because I want to set up and shoot this from a long distance, but I can't get the camera here. So what I've been able to do is just temporarily, and thank you very much for this convenient tree here, is hook them behind that tree, and that's given me a clear view to the scene. Okay, so here's the composition. Camera with a 150mm lens, which is a short telephoto. I want these two small stumps here and the main tree. I don't want this one. That is very ugly if it's included, so I've just got to cut that out the frame and include some of the broken branches. Okay. Okay, here we go. 8 seconds. Everything looks fine. Nicely focused, mirror up. Stand very still. Don't breathe. Well, obviously I'm breathing, I'm talking as well. Job done. Now this, to my mind, is a lot better, and I like what the longer lens has done here. It's brought the tree stumps together. It's brought the background in a bit more, so there's less tapering off. I actually like the balance. It just jumped out at me immediately when I saw the negatives, even before I scanned them. So I think there's more possibilities here in terms of using longer lenses in this area. I have got a 250mm I rarely carry because it's big, heavy and long, but I think it's worth bringing back on the next visit, to be honest. Now, with the hugely improved light levels, although it may not look like it on the video, it is actually a lot brighter now. I'm able to do some of these detail shots. Now, these were in massive shadow earlier on. Couldn't have differentiated them really, but light has come up now and it's lifting them beautifully, but they've still got that really low-key, saturated, rich shadows look. So standard lens, f22, and I've gone for 8 seconds, although I am actually going to do the second one at 15. I think I need to allow a little bit more exposure here, to be honest. Actually, I do keep saying 15 seconds on the Bronica. It's actually 16 because the increments are 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 seconds, just a doubling every time. So there we go, 16 seconds, f22, beautifully slow detailed film, hopefully a beautifully detailed shot. No wind again. Last time I was here, no wind. Today, no wind. Very lucky. And there we go. And that is also the end of the roll. Now, the relevance of this shot, and it's nothing special. It works well in a square format, but you know, anyone could do this at any place. But the relevance is that having recognised I would like to revisit this location numerous times over a period of 12 months, I thought I will need to take a closer view and zoom right in on smaller details and not focus on the bigger trees and the branches and the light. And for that, I'm going to need to use my extension tubes on my various lenses. So you can probably imagine there is going to be a video coming up probably quite soon where I focus in and I go more macro. So that is me done for the morning, and unusually I took 6 shots. I don't know if I'm going to put them all in, only if they're good or even if they're half good, but I will show you anyway. It's only fair, isn't it, that you see what I get on a roll of film on an outing. So yes, I did enjoy myself here, despite the overbearing, beautiful, outstanding, seasonal, short-lived colour. I've shot black and white and I've enjoyed it because it's what I do. Although I think Robin's going to go mad with me, and I'm hoping to go out next week into the Lake District, and there'll be loads more colour and I'll probably shoot black and white again, and then I'll realise I should have shot colour. But there you go, I'm a black and white photographer predominantly. So thanks for watching, thanks for coming along, and I'll see you again on the next trip.